Bubble wrap! Greetings, RC fans. Thanks for stopping by the channel. It's Moodog from Moodog's Frugal RCs. Today we are in the research kitchen doing a rig rundown on one that I've been waiting for a while now. This is the model 2098B by HBX, better known as the Devastator. Stay tuned, guys. Let's get into this. All right, guys, you can see a really nice looking box here. Again, really good stuff from Haiboxing. Always a pleasure to receive their products. This one I did pay full cost for. Got this on eBay. I'll post a link down in the description for you guys if you want to check it out. You can see this is the model 2098B, ready to run package here. This is in 1/24th scale rock crawler called the Devastator here. Let's take a look at the rest of the box real quick here, guys. We can see that we have 4x4, 2.4 gigahertz for the radio system on here, brushed motor, rechargeable battery pack that is included, actually encased in this vehicle from what I understand. We're going to check that out in just a minute. And the digital proportional with 2 servos on this one, so you have the options of different steering patterns, and we'll get into that in just a second. This side of the box here is actually showing the 4-wheel steering on here, another view of the rock crawler on this side, and some other information stating that this is not a toy, not intended for persons under the age of 14. As always, use your discretion if you're going to be gifting this to a younger child. This side here kind of shows you the vehicle in its naked state with the Lexan body taken off, kind of what it looks like underneath. You can see a lot of use of aluminum on here, and this is just more warning information on there. Nothing really too important to see. We've seen it all before on the channel here. So let's go ahead and get this box open and get everything out, and we'll take a look and see what comes inside. All right, guys, we can see everything out on the table here. First thing we're going to find inside the package is, again, a really nicely done manual by Haiboxing. This one is for the 2098B. It's giving you all the information that you need here, technical data on the size of the motor, things like that. This one is going to have a 180 size brushed motor. It's going to give you a rundown of the transmitter and its workings, getting familiar with your crawler. Pretty much everything you need to go from box to indoor crawling or outdoor crawling as it is. Now you can see on the back here we have a nice parts grid here and all the part numbers corresponding. Everything looks really clear, really nicely done. The font looks good, nothing smudged. We have some assembly views here, blown up, I guess you could say exploded views of the parts component groups here, and showing all the corresponding part numbers as well. Assembly view here again, and more assembly views as you go through. Regular maintenance notes, troubleshooting, stuff like that, but very nicely done. Haiboxing does a very, very good job on their documentation for their vehicles. So as per normal with Haiboxing vehicles, you're getting this kind of supplemental sticker sheet here. There are decals already installed on the vehicle, but this gives you some more if you wanted to put the Devastator decals on the side. I'm not quite sure what this is. I think this might be some sort of a bumper. There's some other stuff on here as well. So kind of cool that they did this, that they offer this, so you can kind of sort of customize the vehicle to your own liking. Nice to see that. Inside this box, I'm going to go ahead and assume there is the remote. Let's go ahead and pop this open real quick. All right, guys, inside here we have our charger. Now this is going to be a USB to, looks like a balance plug. Let's take a look at this closer here. Yeah, this is definitely a USB to balance plug charger here. This is going to be recommended using a 5-volt input at 2 amps and output at 7.4 volts and 500 milliamp. I believe this is about a 500 milliamp or 600 milliamp battery, and I will correct that in post edit and I'll let you guys know exactly what size that is. But nice to see those. That one looks pretty good. All right, guys, taking a look at the transmitter, we can see that this one does have some weight to it. Feels very stout, nicely made. Has a decent feel in the hand as well, guys. You have a little bit of kind of stippling on the back here, if you want to call it that, and kind of a little pistol grip looking front here with some texture. So it feels really, really good. This one is going to require 3 AA batteries that are not included, as mentioned before. As far as form and function goes, I think this is going to be a good one. We have a really nice return spring on the steering wheel here, right hand side steering. This one's going to have a decent sized trigger as well as far as the finger opening on here, so anybody with fat fingers, no worries here. Nice return spring as well. We have a bind and mode button on here, along with a couple of LEDs, probably for power and one for indicating bind. So you have 2 switches right above that, one for steering reverse and one for throttle reverse. We also have steering trim for the front servo and the rear servo, as well as a throttle trim to set a neutral point. Right up on top here, we have a diagram of the different steering patterns that you can choose from. While you're in crawling mode, you can pretty much change those on the fly, and that happens from the mode button down here. It appears that there are LEDs underneath these little vehicle kind of icons here, so we'll take a look at that once we get this powered up. But very nice feeling, guys. Feels very, very stout. I like that already. It just gives a nice quality feel. Very nicely done, Haiboxing. Very good. All right, guys, taking a look at the vehicle, we can see a really nicely done, very professional looking, very hobby grade looking vehicle. A lot of aluminum on here, and we can see that they are using metric hex heads on here instead of your normal Phillips screws. So kind of cool to see that. So you can see it here, guys. We have threaded turnbuckles on all 4 corners here, telescoping plastic drive shafts, all connected in front here to the transfer case. Our 180 size motor up in front of that. You can see that we have our steering link on the back here and as well on the front. Very nicely done as well on a mini servo here with a spring-loaded servo saver. And tires on here, guys, are going to be not filled with foam. These are just going to be air filled, and we have definite bead locks going all the way around with hex screws on there to fasten everything together. Kind of cool looking lettering on these tires as well. We have a pretty aggressive tread pattern on here. I think these tires are going to do pretty good for what I'm going to be using this vehicle for. We can go ahead and get this body off of here. We can see that we have 4 standard body clips on here, 2 mounted sideways and 2 just vertical, I guess you could say. So let's go ahead and pop these off, and we'll take a look at the inner workings of this. First off, as always, we'll take a look at the Lexan here. Nice looking body on this one, guys. We have 4 of these bumpers. One came off that will actually sit on the body post there to kind of protect the Lexan from cracking prematurely. But nice feeling. Feels like a nicely made piece right here. We can see a very, very telltale design here for Haiboxing with their grill work. Looks like the sticker's coming up just a little bit there. Not a big deal. But we can see that the attention to detail on the stickers and all the decals and everything on here looks pretty decent. But I think that one's going to survive some tumbles. Looking at the inner workings of the vehicle, we can see that we have the ESC receiver here. We have a power button next to that, which looks to be a 2S standard charging port. We have 5-wire servos in the front and in the rear. It doesn't look like they're giving us any option to change these servos out to anything differently, but you can see a lot of aluminum on here, guys. We have the articulation, and I'll show you that in just a second here. So you've got pretty good articulation, you can see in the front. Actually, that was the rear. And in the front. Shock absorbers are going to be non-oil filled. These are just standard friction type shocks, but you can see aluminum framework on the sides, aluminum plates here. All the way around here, guys, very nicely constructed. We have turnbuckles not only here on these four corners, but on the inside as well. Looks like for the steering links on here. And I'll get to know more about what this is called as I go with the crawlers. This is the first crawler I've ever owned, and I really couldn't think of a better company to get my first crawler from than Haiboxing. Very nicely done in a small scale. But you can see very nicely put together. Now, one gripe I have already is this battery is not removable. Not supposed to be removed, but when have I ever followed the rules? Now, we have a battery that's encased inside here, and I believe this is, I know it's a 7.4 volt, and I believe it's a 500 milliamp per hour battery. Claimed drive time on this from other YouTubers has been about 30 to 45 minutes of actual climbing time. So this will take about an hour-ish to charge, if my math is correct. And what I'm going to do right now, guys, is go ahead and put the body back on here. And I'm not going to put the clips on, but I'm going to show you a comparison between this and the Fire Runner. The Fire Runner, you guys may have seen the video I did to this, a video series, actually 2 videos I did with this vehicle on my channel. I'll post a link in the description for the videos for the HBX Fire Runner next to it. But you can see there's scaling is pretty true to form. This being a crawler has a little bit longer of a wheelbase, but I think all in all is pretty true to size, both being 1/24 scale. So let's go ahead and get the 2098B or the Devastator here powered up, and we'll go ahead and do just a little back and forth on the table. I'll show you some of the steering on it, and that'll pretty much wrap this one up. Alright guys, we went ahead and installed the 3 batteries in the transmitter. We should have enough power out of the box to get this thing rolling back and forth, and basically just show you some of the different patterns on the steering servos. That's kind of what I wanted to accomplish, so I think we should have enough power. We'll go ahead and turn the power on the transmitter on first, and we can see everything is in normal as far as the steering and throttle reverse. We can see red and green blinking lights on the transmitter. Let's go ahead and turn the power on the car. Underneath here we can reach our finger up, and I can see the power button on here, and we're going to press and hold that for a few seconds. And there we go. Everything is bound up. Looks like everything's centered on here. Now, as mentioned before, we have some lights that light up behind these different steering icons here, different modes you could call it. We can see it's in mode 1 right now, so this is just your standard steering, and I'll demonstrate that real quick. Put the vehicle facing us, and we can see just standard steering on this, guys. So left and right, very responsive as far as the servos go. We're going to hit the mode button and change to mode 2, which is going to be kind of the rear is going to steer towards the left. So basically it's for cornering, for hard cornering. So let's go ahead and switch it to mode 2. We are in mode 2 right now, and I'll show you that from this angle here. Try to get the best possible angle, and we'll go ahead and hit the, you can see here that's just for hard cornering, for basically doing a loop, real tight circles. So very cool there. On the mode 3, we can see kind of a crab walk, so you're going to have wheels kind of turned in the same direction, cocked either to the right or cocked to the left. So go ahead and hit the button again. And now we are in mode 3, and we can see again, I'll try to get this so you guys can see it a little bit easier. Hope that's picking up, guys. So you can see there, again, really nice that this does that. Dual servos is going to be really good for crawling. Now in mode 4, we can see just the rear wheels are going to steer. So we'll go ahead and hit that real quick, and you can see just the rear wheels are steering on here. So pretty freaking cool, guys. I will have to say that everything seems to be working really, really well as far as the servos and the responsiveness. Everything working together in harmony. Let's go ahead and move this forward just a little bit. So we've got from creep. That's pretty much as low as I can activate the throttle is right there, guys. I'm gonna back it up again. And we'll get different mode here. This is just standard mode. Mode 2. Real cool, nice tight turns there. Mode 3 again is the crab walk kind of thing, so it's going to kind of dog track, I guess you could say. And then again, mode 4, rear wheel steering. Pretty excited to have this one in my collection right now. Stay tuned. In a couple of days I'll have the run video for this up. We're going to do some crawling, kind of beginner style, but I'm going to set some stuff up out here locally as well as at a nearby construction site, and we'll get some crawling going with this puppy, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it at that time. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing, guys. It really helps me out a lot, and if you do subscribe, go ahead and hit that notification bell as well to get all my content as soon as I upload it to YouTube. We'll see you all in the next one, and God bless the Republic.